Hello there, it's Haley with the Armageddon Report. Tropical Storm Bud is alive now, formally, as of yesterday anyway. Bud was named Tropical Depression 2E, which was actually a more threatening name, right? Tropical Storm Bud actually predicted to become a hurricane later on, but apparently Bud will then decrease back to tropical storm levels before hitting inland in Mexico, or maybe completely dissipate by that time, I'm not sure. So Sunday sounds like Sunday-ish time, Bud may be affecting the coast. So yeah, that's what's happening in the Eastern Pacific. Alberto apparently at the end of his run. Post-tropical cyclone, this is the last advisory, says the National Hurricane Center. So Alberto depressed, and then apparently dead at some point. But apparently that's it for the watches and the advisories and such. So yeah, nothing else going on other than these two things with Bud. There's no probability blobs, so yeah, will there be another Atlantic out-of-season tropical storm? I don't know. Hurricane season for the Atlantic coming up quite shortly. June 1st is when it begins. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that, of course. Over here, apparently half the country is basically on fire. This is excessive heat warnings or watches warning, and this is all red flag warnings, which is related to fire advisories. Also red flag warning down there. So again, California and Arizona having some quite hot temperatures for the lower AZ, Southeast California. So yeah, heat sucks. That's about the most technical I can get. Heat is not fun. Today, severe thunderstorm-wise, there's two different slight risk areas going on up here in the northern plain states, is that what that would be called? And then the southeastern states, there's also significant hail chance, so let's pop on over to the specific maps. Here is the wind map, where you can see that the highest threat for wind is up here in North Dakota and Minnesota with a 30% chance. On the hail map, as high as a 30% again, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota being the focus of that. And basically overlying that is the black hatched area. So in the area with the largest threat for hail is also the area with the threat for the largest hail. Large. So hail in general is considered severe at 1 inch or larger. Significant hail is 2 inches or larger. It doesn't mean that all hail that falls there will be significant, but it means there's a greater risk that there will be 2 inch or larger hail, because there could also be 2 inch or larger hail anywhere. It's just more probable to happen there. Tornado risk, as high as 5%, so presumably also Canada are going to have a threat today. But North Dakota, South Dakota, once again, so if you're not familiar with the numbers, that means that you can pick any point in there, and that means there's a 5% chance that that point or someone within 25 miles of it will see a tornado today. How about tomorrow? Another slight risk going on in the northern-ish plain states. I don't know what that'd be called. And again, with the significant stuff. So I'm going to guess, once again, probably going to be significant hail. And then 5% risk out here, North Carolina, South Carolina type area, 5%. But high as 30% tomorrow for, what is that? Nebraska and Iowa, basically. Day after tomorrow, another slight risk. Where we got Minnesota and Wisconsin and I guess parts of Michigan. So day after tomorrow, there's the 50%. So here's your area. So there's your slight risk area, and it is not extending through much of the country, as some days they do that. There's like a slight risk over here, but then there's a 5% risk for the rest of the country or something. It generally isn't that big. And then day 4 through 8 in the long range, predictability too low. So what does that mean? That means there is severe weather of some sort forecasted in the long range. Or is it medium range? Not sure. I think it might be called medium range. Anyway, but that means there's not enough congruence or a word like that between timing and location for the Storm Prediction Center to put something on the map. And hey, as a final thing, let's look at the warnings to see what's going on right now. So it looks like it's basically a coastal threat. So apparently the stuff that's going to happen later on, the North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, apparently none of that has kicked off as of this time. So yeah, if you're in either of these areas today, hang out at wickedwix.com, wickedwx.com, or the weather.gov site, or Storm Prediction Center. If you like to track some hurricanes, you go on over to the National Hurricane Center and hang out. whatever you do, just stay informed as always and enjoy your day.